welcome back to Outreach's YouTube channel. We have another special guest today to keep going in our parent question video series, and I'll go ahead and let her introduce herself.
Hey, I'm Kat James, and I work in the Admissions and Records Office. In the Admissions and Records Office, we deal with everything from the application process, the registration process, and other things that students may need, like transcripts, academic renewals, verifications for insurance purposes, or verifications that other schools may need to know that the student attended our institution.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kat. So the first question that we get a lot from parents is, how do I know if my student was accepted to SEC?
Sure. So all of our students get accepted. Once a student applies, they will receive an email with login information to our registration system, which is called Web Advisor. They will also receive a student ID number.
The next question we get is, can I keep track of my students' class registration and grades?
Due to privacy laws, parents cannot keep track of their students' registration or grades. However, if your student wants to log into Web Advisor or one of our self-service portals to share that information with you, everything is completely accessible on that system.
So the third question that we have is, how do I find out about registration dates and drop deadlines?
There are two different ways to find out about registration dates and deadlines. One is going to be by logging on to Web Advisor. When you log on to Web Advisor and look at your class schedule, if you click on the section that you're wondering about, you're going to see a series of dates. One is going to be an important one, and that is a registration drop deadline with a refund. The next deadline is going to be the time to drop your class without a W on your transcript. And then the third one is going to be when to drop your class with a W. So after that date, you're no longer going to be able to drop the class, and the grade that you have in that class is going to stand. Another way to find that information is going to be on our website. So you're going to go to sccollege.edu/admissions, and it's going to take you to our admissions homepage, as you see there. When you scroll down, you're going to click on the instructional calendar, and you're going to see click on the academic year for the 2020-2021. And you're going to see our fall dates. We're going to have, let's see, August 24th, 2020. That's when instruction begins. So that's the first day of school. And then shortly after that, you're going to see September 6th, and that's the last day to drop enrollment with a refund for our semester courses. And then if you look down a little bit more, you're going to see the last day to drop a semester length course with a W grade, and that is going to be November 15th, 2020. After that date, again, the grade that the student has in the class will stand. And just to show you a little bit more, we have our whole academic year listed on here. So if you are concerned about a specific date, this is where you're going to find that information. I also want to point out that these dates are specific to the semester classes. We do have a series of 8-week classes, usually on the front end of the semester and the back end of the semester. And those dates will be different. So it's important for those 8-week classes, if you're having questions about when you can drop the class, when you're going to get a W. If you're entitled to a refund, it's going to be really important to log on to Web Advisor and click on that class to check those dates.
The next question we have is, when do I need to submit my students' high school transcripts?
In order to submit the transcript, you're going to want to talk to your high school, but we always recommend submitting it right after you graduate while it's fresh in your mind. That way we can input the information into our system, and if you need to meet with any other departments on campus, it's scanned into your file.
And I know that a lot of high schools use a website called Parchment to do that. So if you're one of those schools, check out that website. The next question we have is, how can I submit my students' AP scores?
In order to submit the AP scores, you're going to want to go to collegeboard.com. They will have a form that you'll fill out, and I believe that there is a fee associated with that. But once you submit that, they'll send them directly to the admissions office at SEC.
And then the last question we have is, how are your services accessible online?
All of our services at this point are accessible online. If you have questions, we always recommend emailing admissions@sccollege.edu. We also have a live chat through our website. If you go again to sccollege.edu/admissions and click on live chat, you can speak with an admissions representative Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 or Fridays from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also have all of our documents on our website. They're all fillable forms that the students can type the information and then email it to that admissions@sccollege.edu email address. And you also can order transcripts online. We use a system called Credentials, where we can send transcripts electronically, or we can send them by mail to the institution of your choice. Like Erica said, we also use Parchment. So when you're sending your high school transcripts, those will automatically get transferred into our system through that Parchment system.
So great to know. Thank you so much for joining us today, Kat. We really appreciate your time. And to all of you watching, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next video. Thanks, Kat.
Thanks for having me.